So the landlords, obviously, we know they're looking for cash flow. So let's keep it simple. When you're looking for buyers, you got to always put yourself in the shoes of that buyer. So let's just keep it traditional right now. Since things are changed, like we said, everything went a little off the racks with the hedge funds. So if you're newer into this business and we're just used to getting those easy sales, now all those buyers are gone. So now you're like,
you're listening to the Azria Show. If you're looking for quality real estate investing information that you can trust, you've found it. Stay tuned and join the tens of thousands of members that have already benefited from Azria, your home for education, market information, support, and networking opportunities that will advance your real estate investing career.
Welcome to another episode of the Azria Show. Guys, thank you so much for being here. This is Marcus Maloney, and I have my co-host, Mike Prete.
what's up, Marcus?
Hey, I'm recording from home today. I'm not in the studio. As you guys can hear, I got a little bit of a scratchy voice, but we're going to push through and we're definitely going to make it happen. So, Mike, we got a lot coming up, man. We had a busy week. Had our monthly meeting on Monday. We were down in Tucson on Tuesday. Wednesday, we did the comping class. Thursday was the beginners group. Today, we're doing a podcast episode. And then this weekend, we have the full weekend of the Build Your Wholesale Step-by-Step course and class this weekend, man. So you take a deep breath, man. You ready?
I'm ready, man. I feel like we're just getting started.
I know it. I know it. So what we want to do today, guys, we talked earlier this week, we talked about sellers, how to find motivated sellers. What is a motivated seller? What are some of those triggers? What to look for, things like that. We talked about comping, how to find the value of a property on Wednesday. Today, we want to focus on your end buyer. We want to focus on where are the cash buyers with the change and the shift in the market. Buyers shift just like homeowners shift. Sometimes homeowners say, yes, I'm motivated. Things happen where there's a lot of inventory on the market, then it changes. Same way it does with buyers, where the buyer that was a buyer a year ago is no longer a buyer today. So how do we find those new buyers? So Mike, I'm going to ask you real quick, man, what do you classify or who do you classify as a cash buyer?
So who are cash buyers? So we're focusing on wholesalers right today. So wholesalers that want to get deals done in today's market, it's key to find the cash buyers. So who's a cash buyer? Cash buyers are people with cash, money in the bank, right? Someone that could liquidate their funds and buy a house within 24 hours. Someone serious that could purchase that junky house, or they have access to hard money, right? So cash buyers have hard money, cash, and they're ready to move on a house. They can be fix and flippers, right? They're gonna take an ugly house and make it pretty. They could be landlords, right? Mm-hmm. So they can buy the house, clean it up, fix it up, rent it out for cash flow. Through the last few years, we've had iBuyers, hedge funds, corporate buyers. For Arizona, we had a lot of people coming in from California, selling their houses in California, coming here. So there's a lot of different types of people, but we want people that have cash and that can move quick. So what we're going to do, we're going to tell you different types. We're going to go deeper into types of cash buyers. We're going to talk about how to find the cash buyers, what makes a real cash buyer, and even some co-wholesaling, some JVs and stuff we'll cover as well.
Right. So you know what this episode is about now. So get your pen, your paper, or your iPad. Let's start taking some notes, because we always want you to get the information and then execute on the information. So types of cash buyers. Mike, you kind of mentioned it. We talked about iBuyers. Let's kind of touch on that for a second, because that absolutely has changed the game. It changed the game about 3 or 4 years ago, and now it's changed again. What are you seeing in the market as far as the iBuyers, those hedge fund investors that came in Arizona and started buying up everything?
Yeah, I think that's kind of disappearing. It has disappeared. So a lot of those type of buyers have moved on or are just on the sidelines. So obviously I hear they are coming back. I think, what is it, like BlackRock or something? They got like $50 billion, something crazy, and they're ready to buy real estate. So forget about that. I would still build those relationships with other investors that have those contacts and build those yourself and be prepared for those. Because as wholesalers, we're always adapting because buyers go through cycles, right? So some buyers can buy one house a year, one house a month, some buy 10 a month. everyone's different. So you're always adapting to the buyers because buyers go through cycles. So yeah, man, I think it's transitioned. So that's a good question. So everyone that got in the game the last 2-3 years, they're just flipping at 85, 95% straight to the hedge fund, 100%, whatever it is. There was no strategy there. It was just find a house and give it to them because there was no supply. So they were just buying up. And for them, it's a long-term play, right? So they're not trying to get that sweet deal like local investors. So it was great. So if that comes into the market, take advantage of it, do it. But for now, when we started in the last crash, it was a different type of buyer. So what you made.
But wait, real quick, Mike, before we shift to the different type of buyer, just to wrap up with the iBuyers, me and Mike, we did quite a few deals with iBuyers, and it was very simple. It was very seamless. They had a buy box. Hey, I'm looking for 3 2s, 1985 and newer. And that was it. So you would just go out, take orders, find people, and you would find that and give that to them. And it was very, very simple. But now, because their whole motive, like Mike was saying, was a long-term play. So they were buying these properties just to go in and either turn around and put them right back on the market, or they was using them as rentals, because here in Arizona, there was a huge shortage of apartments and lower income assets for people to move into, and the rents were going up. So they saw an opportunity. Now that opportunity has shifted. So now they're on the sidelines looking. So I just wanted to recap that, Mike, before we moved on.
So what else are we gonna hit? So what's the next question you got, Marcus? What do you want?
I mean, true cash buyers. So we talked about iBuyers. What about that landlord buyer?
So the landlords, obviously, we know they're looking for cash flow. So let's keep it simple. When you're looking for buyers, you got to always put yourself in the shoes of that buyer. So let's just keep it traditional right now, since things are changed. Like we said, everything went a little off the racks with the hedge funds. So if you're newer into this business and we're just used to getting those easy sales, now all those buyers are gone. So now you're like, now how do I make some money? How do I get these buyers? So with landlords, the best way to do it is you got to understand the way they think, right? So how do they analyze a property? How does a landlord look for their net operating income, their ROI, their cap rate, their cash on cash return? So these are all terms that you should be going to the ASREA website, go into the glossary, and we have a big glossary of all these things, and understand how to formulate that, right? So now when you're talking to these landlords, they're going to probably tell you they want like a 10% return, 15% return, 8% return, whatever it is. And then when you're negotiating with these homeowners, you could work it back, reverse engineer it and work it backwards. Same thing with a fix and flipper, right? You just got to understand how they think, put yourself in the shoes of your buyer and understand how they calculate deals. And that will help you write your offer with the homeowners.
So, and another good thing about the landlord. So we talked about the iBuyers that can buy 90, 100%, sometimes even 105% of ARV after repair value. Now the landlords, they fit in that middle section. They can buy a little bit more aggressively than fix and flippers, because they're not going to go in and they're not going to put in, quartz countertops and go in and change out all of the cabinets and everything like that. They're just going to get it rent ready, so they can keep, the oak looking cabinets. They can keep the Formica or the older granite as long as they clean it up. So you can offer your seller a little bit higher amount, knowing that you don't need to get it so deep for fix and flipper. So again, that's knowing your buyer type. So we talked about the iBuyer, where you could be super aggressive on getting the property under contract. And then you have the landlord, where you can be moderately aggressive on getting the property under contract, because again, they're looking for the cash flow. It's a long-term play versus the fix and flipper that's trying to be in and out, and they have to get it at a significantly deeper discount.
Yes, sir. I see what you're doing there, Marcus. You're going, all right, you have a plan.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's next? What do we got next then? So we got the iBuyer, the landlord.
Yep. So now the fix and flipper. Let's talk about the fix and flipper, that type of buyer, because that type of buyer is definitely going in cycles right now, because you had everybody and their mother, grandmother, auntie, and uncle that were out there flipping houses because they can get them, they can put a little bit into them, throw them on the market, and they would get an offer within hours. That has changed significantly. So knowing that buyer, you have to look at things differently. So Mike, kind of school us on what we need to look for when we're working with that fix and flip buyer.
Yeah, so you hit it right on the head, right? The market's changed, right? So people, even the newer people getting into flipping the last few years, they're speculating. They're playing it like the stock market. They were overpaying on a property because they know it was so crazy. It would appreciate, 5-10% or more over the next 3 months, where it would cover any errors or whatever, or they would, so they're buying these properties incorrectly. Well, it worked out for the play for the time at being, but if we're going back to the foundation, traditional wholesaling and flipping properties, you got to get back to the basics. You got to buy deeper. You got to buy right. You got to be smarter. So these fix and flippers are the type of buyer that's coming into this market that sees an opportunity. They're more savvy, right? So, or they're going to want a better deal. So you're going to get on these flippers. Obviously, you got to run your numbers. You have your margins for room for error. Your holding costs might be longer, right? I think just on the ASREA data that we've been tracking with our members, I think we already went from like 3 to 4 months to 5 months on a hold for your hold time for the fix and flip. So you're starting to notice that trend here. So you got to with all that said, that fix and flipper, they're going to want a better deal, right? Yep. With all the expenses of the deal going up, the holding costs longer, and the market not knowing where it's at yet, where it's trending, and just we're all just kind of seeing where it's going, they're going to want a deeper discount. They're going to buy much deeper because it's a bigger risk. So you got to get better deals with these homeowners. So that's deep. So these fix and flippers are going to be negotiating, right? They're going to want that deal. They're going to negotiate with you. So that's what we're dealing with, fix and flippers on that end.
Yeah, because fix and flippers, I mean, they really have to be aware of all of the uncertainty in the market, because they can buy it at one price thinking that ARV is going to be X. By the time they get done with the rehab, that X can be a lot lower than, like you said, 5, 10, 20% lower than, or maybe not 20% lower, but 10% lower than what they anticipated. So they have to have a buffer in there. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to look at the wholesaler and say, I'm gonna get my buffer out of this wholesaler and make the wholesaler go back to the homeowner and try and squeeze out their profit. So that's the fix and flipper.
And I'm saying, or they'll squeeze your fee because they know you got 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 grand in there, whatever it may be.
Right. Yep. That's exactly what I was saying. All right. So next we did corporate or investors, we did fix and flippers. Now there's another category as far as the group home investors. So people that are doing sober living homes, youth group homes, senior group homes. Kind of talk about that, kind of touch on that, and I can chime in on that as well.
No, really. So now traditional, right? A wholesaler was always created to feed like the fix and flipper landlord. And, as time evolves and, so there's these different types of buyers. So these are more unusual buyers, maybe we could say. Well, group homes a little different. So group homes, obviously people, assisted living facilities, people that are aging, mental health, VA, single mothers, like there's all these different types of homes where groups of people could live in. And so what these investors are doing, they're getting a property and they're changing the use of the property, right? Rather than traditional long-term tenant. So anyways, it's a different business. It's a business model, and they need a house. So there's some investors that will you could sell to that group home owner, assisted living owner. They buy the house and they do whatever they need to do to run their business. And there's also investors out there that buy the house and just rent it at a higher price to the group homes. Exactly. So, we'll get into buy box and criteria, but that's in short, it's just another strategy.
Yeah. And then, with those group homes, they're renting out by either the room or by the bed. So instead of looking at, hey, I'm renting out the whole house and it's going to be $2,400 to rent out this whole house, they can rent that bed out for $2,400 a month. So they can be really aggressive on their purchase, on their acquisition price versus fix and flippers or some of the other categories. So Mike, let's talk about quality versus quantity. We always talk about, we always hear people say, yeah, I got a massive buyers list, 30,000 people on my buyers list. And, that's great. But then you have the person that say, hey, you know what? I have about 10 people that I work with exclusively. And every time I get something, I know exactly what they want and I move it. Kind of give us the quality over quantity dynamic. What do you prefer? Let's start there.
Well, I say, if you could do both, do both.
Yep.
Right. Oh, right. So if you have money, time to build a list, once again, it goes back to buyers go through cycles, right? So you never know who, if you go for quantity, you never know who's on that list, who's really active. So my goal, here at our company is to always build it, right? Because I've actually, over the last few months, has the buyer, like I said, the buyer's changing. I'm seeing older buyers that I've sold deals to 2, 3, 4 years ago, even longer. Hey, what's going on, Mike? What's going on? Things are changing. They're just curious now. So those savvier old investors coming back a little bit. So I still want to build that list as much as possible, because you never know who's who. However, if you want to cut a check and get paid quickly, I would go to quality, right? So now shift into who is actually buying, right? Who's buying today? Who just bought a property a couple months ago? Who's actively looking today? And yes, I'd rather pre-qualify 5 quality people, find out exactly what they're looking for, and go to the marketplace and serve it to them on a platter, right? So as wholesalers, we're waiters and waitresses. We're taking orders and we're just delivering it to the buyer exactly what they want. So yeah, I would rather, that's what we're doing, is this that quality buyer and just giving them what they're looking for.
And I know you guys heard us say buy box, you got to know the investor's buy box. That's where this comes into play. So the buy box is when you have knowing the quality of your investor, your cash buyer, you know exactly what they want. Hey, I want to be in North Phoenix. I need the house to be between 1,500 square feet, 2,400 square feet, minimum 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, no older than 1985. And I want to only be able to do maybe $20,000 to $30,000 in repairs. That's it. So it's knowing that buy box of what each person wants. Now it takes a little bit more time, getting to know that buy box, but that's where that rapport and that constant relationship, and like Mike said, making those phone calls to those buyers and saying, hey, you know what, the market has changed. Are you still buying in this specific area? If not, what's changed? Where are you going now? Where are you headed? What do we need to go out and look for you? Where do we need to find these deals for you? And they are willing to have that conversation with you because they know, hey, if you know what they want, you're going to bring that exactly to them.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to pre-qualify them. And like some Marcus said, and have that conversation. What was your last deal like? When did you do your last deal? What type of deal was it? Flip, hold, what were you doing? You know what I mean? So how are you paying for these properties, right? Is it come from an IRA, cash, hard money? What are you doing? How are you funding these things, right? So, because there will be people that will call you and be like, hey, I want to go see the house.
Yep.
Get the lockbox code, right? Like, who are you? What are you looking for? Anything with meat on the bones, just send it over. Hey, don't get me wrong. There's some of us out there that could buy anywhere, right? And if it's have margin, but majority of the people are just like anything with meat on the bones, just, pre-qualify the people, put some deals in front of them, whether it's a co-wholesale deal, if you don't have a deal yet, whether it's one of your deals, start putting stuff in front of them and say, what do you think about this? And they're going to be like, I told you, Mike, that's not the area. This is what I'm looking for. Here's why I don't want to buy that. Here's what's wrong with it. This is why it's overpriced. They'll go over. A real buyer will tell you all that because they want to get a deal done and they want you to bring them what they want. So don't be afraid to talk to these cash buyers and figure out what they want.
And the good thing is when you qualify them, they know if they get an email from you or a text from you or a phone call from you, they know, hey, this could be my next fix and flip. This could be my next rental because Mike know exactly what I'm looking for. And it's not just some random, hey, here's a property in Campo Verde. Do you want it? And we're like, we ain't even doing anything out there. Why are you sending me this? So that's like the quality over quantity. Now, quantity do come into play sometimes because if you build that buyers list big enough, you will have properties that you will come across in outlying areas, that where you may not have a property in the specific metro that you're in right here in Phoenix, and it may be in an outlying area, and you may have a buyer that's happen to be on that buyers list that you never spoke to, never worked with, and they said, hey, you know what? I'm looking for properties out there. I think this is a deal for me. Let's talk about it.
And another part of that is, which we'll touch on a little bit later, is other wholesalers, right? Because wholesale, hey, I know I don't have every buyer in the world on my list. right? You know, it's like, so when you have these relationships with other wholesalers and do some joint ventures and co-wholesaling, they have their own list. They have their own 5-10 hot buyers. So when they're on in your database, wholesalers are looking at each other's emails. We're paying attention because we want to feed our buyers. So you're having those wholesalers, going into the quantity, they're in there as well.
So just remember, guys, this weekend, yes, this episode is out today, Friday. What's today's date? Friday the 13th. So tomorrow, Saturday the 14th, Sunday the 15th, me and Mike are going to be going over all of this. You can go to asria.org and you can register for a wholesale step-by-step, build your wholesale business step-by-step. So it's this weekend. So it's urgent. You're listening to this podcast right now. You need to be going immediately to asria.org and register for our event this weekend. We're going over tons of content, from cash buyers to motivated sellers to marketing to how to find deals, how to comp deals. What else, Mike? What else are we going over?
Everything you need to build your wholesale business: marketing,
acquisitions,
transaction coordinating, dispositions. We're probably going to have Great American Title pop in and talk about the title process a little bit. We're going to have Brandon Simmons come in, and he's going to be talking about, for 2 hours, subject to wraps, seller finance, lease options. We're just going to brain dump you. This is going to be recorded. It's going to be streamed. So if you can't make it in person, which I always recommend in person, you can watch it online and you'll get the recording if you can't make it. So
and guess what? We got plenty of handouts. So if you don't know where to get a purchase contract from, we got you. If you don't know where to get an assignment agreement, we got you. If you don't know where to get the memorandum of contract, we got you. All of this stuff is going to be provided for you. So you just need to show up. So, okay. Just wanted to throw that quick little intro and plug in there for the class. So Mike, you made a great statement. You said, a cash buyer, when you're qualifying them, you want to ask them, hey, when was the last deal you done? Are you going cash or hard money? Those are good decisions. Those are good questions to ask to qualify that buyer, to see if they're actually a good cash buyer, correct?
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you a quick example, guys. So I have a buyer's list and it's quantity. So I have it sparsed out. I have my quality buyers, but then we have our quantity buyers. We had a property and the lady gave me a call. She was asking about the property. She was interested. She was a landlord. And I just want to make this point. But once we got on the phone, she was like, yeah, I want to go and take a look at it and everything like that. Now, exactly how does this work?
Yeah.
Can I want to go to my local bank and I want to get financing through there, but it's going to take about 40 days for me to get the financing. So can I do that? So it lets me know right there that she's never done a wholesale deal, never went through the process. So immediately I didn't disqualify her, but I did educate her and I let her know that these are off-market deals. It's speed. You buy the property as is. There's no concessions, anything like that. There's no realtor fees, but you have to be quick and you have to exercise that contract quickly. It's not 30, 40 days. So those are just some of the pre-qualification questions that you can ask them. Like Mike said, when was the last time you done a deal? Are you doing cash or hard money? If you're doing
down that line, Marcus, what makes a good cash buyer? What's in their head? How do they operate? How do they think? So that was a great example. We get those calls all the time. Like, hey, can I use a bank loan? Right? Hey, educate them. Have a agent you could refer them to, right? To go get, you know what I mean? And maybe you can get a kickback at some level or whatever, build a good relationship with someone. But what do you think, or are some traits of a good cash buyer? After you ask them those questions, you start working with them.
Sure. A good cash buyer, if they're truly serious, they'll send over proof of funds. They will actually send over a bank statement showing how much money they have. They'll send over, a few properties that they've done recently in the area. They'll send over settlement statements. They'll say, hey, here's a couple of properties that I have listed on the MLS right now that we have just completed doing a fix and flip on. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, a good traits of a good cash buyer. I like what you said. Yeah, because remember, especially in this market, they want the deal. You know what I mean? So they're going to be up front and forward and give you what they have. So they have experience, right? So just what you could tell in their voice and how they talk back with you, right? They're not vague. They're not beating around, skirting around the questions, right? Quick decisions, right? Real cash buyers that, like Marcus said earlier, they know where they're buying. They know if they want garages or pools, or they know the neighborhoods like the back of their hand. They can make a decision literally probably over the phone if they really wanted to. Sight unseen, not saying they have to do sight unseen, because remember, as wholesalers, these are quick cash deals. So there's no inspection periods. They're willing to put $5,000 or more cashier's check, right? Always cashier's check, never cash, never a personal check, never money order. Always a cashier's check or a wire to the title company for $5K or more. I've had people offer 10, 15, 20K just to get the deal. So they're willing to put down that quick money order, make a quick decision, not money. Oh shit, money order. I keep saying money order. I had it written down.
Cashier's check.
And you could jump in anytime, man. I know they have systems.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, you're hitting all of the key points. You know, it's not much that they need to prove to you. I think the best proof actually is just having that conversation. When they say, hey, you know what? I saw an email about this deal. They're going to ask you, how can I access the deal? They're going to ask you, well, they may ask you, hey, is this price negotiable? How fast can they get in? How fast can they close? Things like that. You will know, like I said, when I had that conversation with that lady, I already knew, hey, this is not my buyer.
That's a good one.
Okay.
They're not asking you like, can I have more time? Can you give me a couple more? It happens. Don't get wrong. You get these serious buyers that maybe some funds are moving or they got an influx of cash coming. There's these unique situations, or they're in a 1031 or an IRA situation. But normally 95% of the time, they got it, right? Like you said, how fast can I get in? Can I go right now? There's times if you send out that email or that text, I'm going, can I get there right now? What's up? Like they're beating you to it. So.
Yeah. Or they may even say, hey, I'm outside of the house right now. Can I get in?
Yep, 100%. I remember, yeah, for sure, man. So we got that. So another thing I was going to is like systems and processes. They have contractors, they have property managers, they have agents, they have teams where they can do 5-10 deals a month, and they can look at multiple properties. There's some investors like, I'm sending my guys there now. They'll let me know in a half hour. However it works. So you want people that have those processes and systems to do multiple deals, and they'll negotiate you. Maybe depends how good the deal is or not, how bad they want it, but just be prepared for that. A good investor, fix and flipper, is going to negotiate that fee.
All right. So we talked about who they are. We talked about what they buy. We talked about how to qualify them. Now it's like, where do we find these people at? So some of the places where you can find cash buyers, guys, is.
But real quick,
Mike. Yep.
So this week, really quick. So we have the wholesale class, January 14th and 15th. So if you can't make that, or you're looking for more things to do, just next week, we have a lot of stuff coming up. Like I said, we went from 100 to 200 events last year. So we already did like 6 this week. So next week, I just want to let everyone know, check out the multifamily subgroup, which is this Monday, 6:00 here at the Phoenix office. That's on Monday. And then I think it's Wednesday, we have the lunch and learn. So at 12 on Zoom, register for the lunch and learn. We're doing the infinite banking. So become your own bank, leveraging life insurance policies. And then Wednesday night, we got the experienced investors group. So if you've done 3, 4, or 5 deals or more, we meet over at Hidden Track on 12th Street in Highland, drink some wine, talk real estate, do deals. You never know who's in that room. And then Thursday night, we have notes with Tom Chase. So if you're interested in notes, buying and selling notes, he's been doing it for 20 years. He's a master wizard at notes. So if you want to learn anything about that, Thursday night, be in the room. So that's all I wanted to say. How do you find these buyers?
All right. Yep. So a few ways that you can find buyers. I'll give you one very, very simple way to find buyers is go to your title company.
Yep.
Ask the title company, hey, who are the serious cash buyers? Who are the serious investors that close transactions with your title company? As simple as that. And they'll say, hey, you need to contact so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. They closed 3 deals this week. They closed 8 deals last month, so on and so forth. So that's one process.
Makes so much sense. Title company closes all the deals. Title companies want to close more deals, especially in times. So they're going to be like, call this lady, this guy, this lady, they're closing deals, and they'll hook you up and make the connection. Great one. That's a really good one.
Okay. So you got the title companies. 2, you can network. So just like Mike was saying, we did 6 events this week. Next week, we got another 4 or 5 that's coming up. You just got to be where all the investors are. So you can go to asria.org. Yep.
I just pulled out, I was in my pocket. I was like, what's all this in my pocket? I had like 15 business cards.
Yep. So just by now, going to where the people are and having those conversations with them, you'll build your buyers list. Just like when we was down in Tucson, I use that as an example. I was sitting right next to a guy. He said, hey, I'm looking for a portfolio of at least 47 single family homes here in Tucson. I'm cash ready to go. So that's a cash buyer. So you have to be in the place in order to find the people sometimes. So that's two. So you got title companies, you have networking, then there's technology. You can leverage technology. So Mike, let's talk about some of the technology people can leverage to find buyers.
Well, there's a lot. All right. So one,
just give us one or two and I'll give some
10.
more.
All right. So, well, PropStream, right? It's a paid service, $100 a month, right? But you can extract all cash buyers. So you have a property in a certain area. All you got to do is punch that address into PropStream, pulls that address up. It'll show you exactly in a little green hit cash buyer. So simple, it's just clicking buttons, and then it'll show you 0 or 10 cash buyers. Click on that lead, see who bought it, contact them, right? Are you buying more, right? And even with PropStream, it makes it even easier. Before we go to MLS, they give you the MLS if it was a flip listed on MLS, or says who the agent was, if there was an agent involved. And you can call the agent, say, hey, can you get me in touch with this cash buyer? Or so you can get paid, I can get paid. I have a deal in that neighborhood. Are they looking for another one? So PropStream, and we'll have a link in the show notes on YouTube for the 7-day free trial to PropStream.
Okay. So that's technology. Another one is social media, Facebook groups. I mean, you can go in almost any city and just put in real estate, that city, Kansas City real estate, Facebook groups, Phoenix, Arizona real estate, Facebook groups, Tucson Facebook groups, Chandler Facebook groups, Tempe Facebook groups. And the majority of the people in there are investors. There are some wholesalers, and you want to go to the reputable Facebook groups. If, like Mike always say, if they're selling sunglasses or asking for a specific experience, you don't want to be in that group. You want to make sure you find the groups where you can actually see deals are being posted, people are talking and chatting. Okay, so that's Facebook groups. Also with social media, you can use like Instagram. Just let people know, go live, let people know, hey, I'm a wholesaler, I'm out here, I'm finding off-market deals. Look, I'm right here in Sunny Slope right now. I'm looking for your next deal. Reach out to me, send me your email, DM me if you're looking for your next fix and flip or your next, buy and hold property. Very simple.
Be shameless, put yourself out there. The hashtags on Instagram, AZ real estate, Arizona real estate, whatever it is, see what has a lot of posts. There's people posting deals, and there's people doing deals in there posting for whether they're agents, wholesalers, flippers, everyone's showing what they do. It's simple as just getting on your phone. Really, if you do one thing, we're going over 5-10 things, just pick one of them and do it every day, all day. Whether it's either if you want to jump into finding motivated sellers, any type of marketing, anything, if you just do something consistently, a deal will fall on your lap.
There you go. So the next thing that you can do is you can network with other wholesalers. You can find the major wholesalers that's in your market and network with them. So Mike, I know you're big with co-wholesaling. I'm very big with co-wholesaling. You want to kind of share your experience with co-wholesaling, and I'll share my experience.
Yeah, basically co-wholesaling joint ventures, right? So wholesaler is direct with homeowner. They have a contract. And then you can get what we call like a flex option or whatever it may be, some type of agreement where it's like, hey, I give you permission to an option to sell my contract, right? So you want to have some type of communication permission with that wholesaler that's direct, and then you go out there and put it in front of your cash buyers, right? So how it works is to keep it simple. If they're selling it, the original wholesaler wants a 100K net to them, you usually add your fee on top and bring that. That's how you get paid, right? All goes through the title company. So that's just a basic idea of co-wholesaling. I'll say the last 3 deals we did this month all have been co-wholesaling with at least 3 wholesalers involved. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't have every buyer in our database, right? So That's one way of doing it. So you're linking up and building relationships. I probably have like 5, just like we say, get 5, 10 core buyers. I probably have 5, 10 core wholesalers that we just talk every couple days or whatever it is. What you got? Here's what I got. What you got coming up? And we were, brainstorming. What do you think I could put this out with? Do you have a buyer already? So sometimes you connect deals before you even blast it out. So yeah, so it's fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah.
And one of my experiences in one of my virtual markets, I don't even look for cash buyers because I know this one person, I don't want to say he's cornered the market on cash buyers, but he have tons of cash buyers. And when I tried to go into that market and find those cash buyers, yes, I was finding cash buyers. I was closing deals, but guess what? I was closing deals for a smaller amount than he was. So he was seeing all of the deals that I was putting out, and he was reaching back out to me. He was like, hey man, because he was on my cash buyers list. He was like, hey man, I can get you about 10 grand more on this property. I can get you 15 grand more on this property. So instead of me being selfish saying, nah, I don't want to co-wholesale, I want everything for myself, I said, okay, let's do it, man. If you can get me more and I'm putting it out for 150 and you can get 165, hey, take the 15, take whatever. And as long as I get what I get, I'm happy. So that's another way that you can work with other wholesalers with co-wholesaling. So if you're going into another market or if you're just starting right here, find those wholesalers that are players and they will move your deals, and more than likely they'll be able to move your deals at a higher amount than you can. So you get the deal moved and make more money on top of it.
And then because that just to give context to that situation, that was when you're doing virtual, right?
Yes.
It can happen local too, right? If
Yep.
you might have it priced wrong. Yeah, that's your network is going to help you price it better or whatever it may be.
Yeah, because I know we had Sean Terry on Monday, and one of the things that he always did was said, hey, bring me your deals. If I can't get you more on this deal, then you can go out and shop the deal yourself. And the majority of the time he would get more on that deal because he had more of an intrinsic buyers list that can get more, and they were from all over the place. So again, that goes into quantity and quality when it comes to your cash buyers.
Yeah, another tip I want to throw out there before going to how to find buyers. One thing that's working for us right now is connecting with 1031 exchanges. So there's these people that they have time. There's strategies to extend it, but majority of people don't know. So it's like a lot of these buyers, they sell a property out of state or local. They made a bunch of money. Now they're trying to reinvest it. So they have 45 days, I think it is, to identify a property to get under contract so they could defer taxes and so on. So we have 2 buyers right now. We sold. They were looking for specifically like Chandler. We sold them 2 deals last month because they're trying to do the 1031 exchange. And there's another lady we're working with right now that's looking to buy 2 deals before January 31st through a 1031 exchange. So they have a problem. They have pressure. They have a pain point that they need to solve. So one lady, she's even going outside of her buy box. She's like, I want this neighborhood and this neighborhood. Like, it's hard to find something at what you're looking for. So she started opening up. So she's really serious. So we need deals to feed those 1031. So look in your local area, look for 1031. There's maybe build relationships with a company at the 1031 exchange. So I just want to throw that in there. That's working for us too.
So if you guys are out there looking for deals, finding deals, have leads on deals, feel free to share them with us. We can help you close those deals. We can help you because we have buyers, we have the resources, we have everything that we need. And actually, Mike is a buyer. I'm a buyer. So we're trying to find more deals. All right. So we're almost to the end, Mike. We're wrapping up here. Kind of touch on daisy chaining. Is it good? Is it bad? Is there any misnomers when it comes to daisy chaining?
It gets a bad rep, daisy chain. So there's, like I said, when we first explained co-wholesaling, the relationship and the permission is like, I think is a big part, and having that clear communication of how the deal's going down, where escrow's open. Let me know if it's sold or not, so you're not wasting time. Like that's the way to do it. I don't mind how many wholesales. If I'm getting my number, if I put it out at a number and I priced it wrong, or another wholesaler just knows a different type of buyer that's willing to pay more and they make more than me, I don't care. I don't care if the deal gets sold. I don't care who's involved, as long as the deal's done right and correctly. So people look down on daisy chaining. So there's those. So do it the right way and have those relationships. Whereas then there's those companies that just copy and paste. Boom. They just say, hey, Mike and Marcus sent out a deal. copy, paste, add my fee, blast. And then it's like you call, wholesalers, when I see a deal I want or like, I call the wholesaler and they're like, let me ask my partner. You know what I mean? And then you don't hear back from them because it probably already sold or something. They just don't have direct access. So that's the part that's hard. Or you go into contract with that wholesaler that doesn't have, the right contacts. It just messes up the deal. And if you're trying to wholesale to your buyer, not that they're going to be, you're not going to lose your reputation, but they're, you want to show that you have things under control and you get the deal done. So yeah, just don't be that daisy.
Yeah. Transparency.
Yeah.
Again, you can co-wholesale, but you just want to make sure that everybody knows exactly what you're doing, who you are. Can you get in direct contact with the wholesaler that has direct contact with the seller? That's most important.
And straight up, when I have an email that's just all wholesalers, right? And then when you see that property come in that you might want to buy, and it's like, 250, 255, 260, 279, 240. You're like, okay, you're just going to call the lowest one when they all come in. So anyway, so try to do that first before you just call anyone that copies and pastes. So.
All right, guys. So if you have any questions, if you're looking to get started wholesaling, or if you're looking for your next deal and you want to go direct to seller, we have Build Your Wholesale Business Step by Step that's going on this weekend. You can go to asria.org right now, go right now and register, and you can be in that class. We have about 30 people already pre-registered. How many? 37 people already pre-registered. So the room is definitely going to fill up. Me and Mike are going to be with you for 2 days from 9 to 5. We will be with you for 2 days. And guess what? You'll get direct contact to us. You'll be able to ask questions, touch us, smile at us, look us directly in our.
Jump into the Deal Finders Club. When's our first date on that? January 19th?
So Deal Finders Club is opening up January 19th, and the Deal Finders Club is where deals get done. It's me and Mike. We created an exclusive club just for members that are looking to either get their first deal done or get their next deal done. We work with you hand in hand. We meet every Thursday on Zoom, and then we have one in person. So the doors are open. The doors are open for the Deal Finders Club. You can go to azdfc.com. That's azdfc.com. We have over 30 lessons, 12 modules full of jam-packed content that you can learn in your individual course studies. And then again, we get on with you on Thursdays and we go over any questions that you have. We dive deeper into the content as far as how to write the contract, we provide you the contract. We actually show you how to find deals, where to find deals, how to talk to motivated sellers. You'll be able to come to our call-a-thons. We have everything right there for you. So there's absolutely no excuse for you not to be able to get that next deal. I mean, we have students that are closing deals. We have Michaela, she closed 3 deals last month. We had Donna, she's closing deals. Cyrus closed on 2 land deals. Then we had a student that's not in DFC, but came to our wholesale step-by-step class and she closed the deal. So we're actually doing deals. It's not just sitting in the classroom teaching you and showing you, but we go out to the properties, we help you, we get on the phone. So that's the Deal Finders Club. You can go to azdfc.com. That's azdfc.com. And we have a calendar that we'll be providing you to show you exactly what you're going to be doing each week. So it's a cohort, just like a college course, and you're definitely going to learn. I love it. I love it. I love seeing, Mike, the transformation from when students first start to when they get to the end of the course. It's an 8-week course and they have the confidence. That's the most important thing, is the confidence that they have, because now they go from, hey man, you know what? I was so scared to do this, to now, hey, I don't mind calling the seller, because if I get stuck, if I get in a place, I can always schedule some time with Mike or Marcus and they'll jump right on with me and make the call with me or go to that property with me.
Yeah. Or like you said, the transformation, or even better when they're like, hey, Mike, Marcus, I don't need you anymore.
Yep.
So that's the best. So yeah, love it, man. That's what January 19th is the first date.
Yes, January 19th is the first date. We'll love to have you in the class.
All right, that's a wrap.
Okay, guys, we will see you this weekend. Marcus, Mike, signing off. Thank you for being loyal listeners to the Azria Show.
Thanks for listening to the Azria Show with your hosts, Marcus Maloney and Mike Del Prete. We hope you enjoyed this episode. If you found this information valuable, head over to azria.org and learn more about our community.